paying close attention. What kind of message is that? If that's not weakening a chief, I've never been in this seat before. And I admire your tenacity, Mr. Takis. I think you bring a lot of knowledge to the table. I admire you. But you got to combine some common sense on this flower issue. It's blown way out of proportion. I'm so sick of talking about it. You spend more having an attorney, I don't know, you don't do this for free, Mr. Murray, research these issues. We spent this year $57. And if we're lucky, that's all we'll spend. Unfortunately, someone else may pass away, but usually not. And that's it. That is such a minuscule thing. And I'll leave it at that. I don't care to inflame anything else tonight.
So the correction I have is we spent $27 taxpayers' money.
Oh, because of contributions, so it's down to 27.
Yes.
All right, we're down to 27 bucks. We're sitting here arguing about that. Okay?
That's all.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something?
Yes.
I don't believe all those plaques and pins and awards given tonight came for free. Those taxpayer dollars. Could have just read the names, so-and-so 30 years or 20 years. You know, I don't see any difference in that. It's an act of goodwill, and we should do that. But I see, you'd have a hard time convincing me that that's any different than a bouquet of flowers for a person from the district that passed away. I think this is getting way out of hand, and I hope we're not going to spend all our next meetings on bouquets of flowers and who's paying for them, because this district has a lot deeper problems, and it has a lot more things we should be discussing, such as manning and housing. That's all I have.
Chief's report?
The only two issues, just looking at Scott Rowe back here, reminded me that first part of July, we will be sending two people. Scott Rowe, I think Pat Davis will be going to Pittsburgh to be get certified in the trigger repair and service. We found how useful it was the last time we did it, and we're going to repeat it with two new people. It's usually a 3-day course, but it's been, I think, kind of compressed into 2 days. And one of the benefits of it is that when you take your final test, it's really repairing, being able to tear down and repair our Traeger SCBAs. And I believe that maybe you might even take advantage of taking some of ours. I mean, I don't know. Correct. You chose not to say who this fireman was. I think it's a shame that the firemen had to come to you to pick out a day or incident and come back to this, which is and I think that's what I have here, a very isolated kind of case here, and felt that they had to come to you to be the spokesperson to scare the community into thinking they have an inadequate fire department. Shame on that fireman. Where was that fireman? If you give me the name, I'd like to know who they were, so let me see if they were at that fire. Well, why weren't they at that fire? Right now, everybody's sitting out there saying we're not doing anything about manning. There are the steps we're taking towards trying to improve the manning. We've got committees formed to investigate our part-time, what is happening with our part-time, what can we do with part-time, make recommendations. The board has opened up the approval to recall full-time firefighters, which was this past a couple of times has been, we have had very little response, that we've had some good cooperation, but we have opened it up to the full-time to, first of all, our policy is to allow part-time to fill these vacancies. If they don't fill them, we open it up to full-time people. So we've done a lot of steps, and if you look at our last 4 weeks of activity, that fire was probably one of our worst days. and that was having 3 and 2 on duty. Again, automatic mutual aid was there at approximately the same time. I did look at that. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question on the squad, but I believe the squad was there very shortly. It was provided, actually, now that I remember, it was provided by Broadfield, and they were there within, matter of fact, they answered, when they weren't needed on the scene, they answered a call for us. Came in right after that. Well, it's a shame that this firefighter who's feeding you this information doesn't have the respect for his own fire department, for his own career, for if it's a part-time, I don't know who it is. I don't have any idea. But if they don't have enough respect for their own career or their own position, then shame on them. They don't really deserve to be in, they're a discredit for the other firefighters who bust their ass every day to do the job. And they're doing a fantastic job. And they're discrediting those people. We have some good firemen. And we have a good fire department. And everybody is trying to down that we are now, they've been fed that we are in a crisis situation, that we won't be able to answer the next call. And that's bull. I'll tell you the last thing I read on 44057.
I would like the voice lowered, please. I will not be sitting here and be scolded.
I'm not scolding anybody, I'm just
Well,
talking.
I think if I'm expected to
Okay,
show
Chief has the
respect,
floor. Okay.
if I have to
Chief
show
has the
respect,
floor.
so does he.
He's okay.
The last thing that was, the comment that was made on 44057, the Manning program was better before Chief Zilke took over. And that is a crock. When I took over this position as fire chief, there were days that I was the only person in the district. Only person. And now we've revolved around through my term here as chief, we've revolved to a full-time Manning program. We have the luxury now to criticize when we're down to 5 people. We have that luxury now to criticize when we're in a crisis situation. Where were people, and Mike, you were here, where were you when we were down to me by myself? I didn't hear you crying about the Manning program. Never heard a word. But now we're at a crisis when we have a bad day, when people unaware, people had to take off. I'm showing that there. People came in, we put the recalls out, we had some part-time people that came back to fill some of these shifts. I'm showing where in effect the full-time recalls now are taken, where they're being effective, where they're not. But we are making different moves. We are working towards getting to where we want to be. But it does take time. It takes now, when you have union contracts, when you have union things, the union is looking, wants to be involved, and that's good. I mean, there's no problem with that, but it takes time. It takes a little bit different approach. It takes a little bit longer to do things. We are working on this. I don't want people to think that we are not working on this Manning issue. But to say that we're in a crisis situation and to make this town, try to make this town feel that they're in an unsafe environment is not fair to the people. It's not fair to the fire district. That's all I have.
That was directed at
Thank you,
me.
Chief.
I think I should be given the right to respond to that.
No, Mike, public portion's over.
Oh, that was directed at me, Sam.
No.
No, in this meeting.
No.
Now, that's not right. You know that's not right. You can't have him direct something directly to me and then not allow me the opportunity to respond to it.
What's the feeling of the board?
Mike's already spoken, this could go on all night.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna close it up right now.
okay. Before we adjourn the meeting, July 2nd, we will not have a quorum. Mr. Williams is going to be out of town, Mr. Brossman and Mr. Quirk's busy, I was told. So that meeting will be canceled. The next meeting will be July 16th here.